All right, here's the new Copeland outdoor condensing unit. You see, this is the Copeland Scroll outdoor refrigeration unit, and this is the new model that was just released this year in 2016. This is the update to the unit that's been out there for a couple of years now. So I want to cover some of the installation aspects that you need to take into consideration when you're putting this unit in. Really, it goes together just like any other unit. The only differences are it's a different shape. It's taller and skinnier. It's lightweight, so it's a little bit more flexible with where you can put it. The only considerations are, on the back end, you can put it, as close to a wall as 8 inches, and then generally you need about 20 inches, all around it, the top and sides and the front. But other than that, you can put them pretty much anywhere. You can put them on the ground or up on the, a wall with the proper brackets. It's real flexible with where you can put it. As far as the connections go, they're all pretty standardized. You've got a 7/8 connection here for the suction. You got a half inch connection here for the liquid, and then of course you've got your charging ports right there on the valves. Makes it real easy to charge. All right, so both of these valves are right here external to the unit, so they're real easy to get to. Real simple units. Just take these external caps off, and then you have access to the valve stem itself. The suction valve is going to take an 8mm Allen wrench like this. You can use one of these, cheap tools here. Recommend not to. If you get a real cheap one, you'll just bend the thing all to heck. You don't want to deal with that. So get some good quality wrenches when you do this. Now, these units are going to have a charge in them. They ship from the factory with a dry air charge in them. So once you crack them down, they're going to let that charge out. Depending on how much is in there, it can be pretty loud when it lets loose. Liquid line, same thing. Just got a 5mm wrench on it. Put it in there, crack it loose. Again, you're going to have a charge in that side as well. Now, as far as your electrical connections go, the unit is going to have these 2 knockouts here on the side of the unit. Depending on whether or not you're running defrost control wires or not, you may or may not need both of the different knockouts there. These are 1/2-inch knockouts. Wiring is pretty standard. You do need to connect it to a disconnect. Standard disconnect here. You need to follow your local zoning regulations. Typically need to be within 6 feet or line of sight. Whatever your local codes are. So on this side of the unit, I'm going to go ahead and take a look on the inside. Now the doors are going to have just these little quarter turn locks on it. So you just use a flathead screwdriver and open that up, and this door is just going to open right up. Now you see here, this ground wire connected to it. These doors are on removable hinges, so if you want to, you can pop these wires loose, and then the door just lifts right off of the unit, so you can set it off to the side. You don't have to do that, but sometimes if you're in a windy area, something like that, you might want to do that just to make it so it doesn't flop around on you and hit you in the head. All right, so now that the door's off, here's the inside of the unit. Up here on top, you've got the main control. This is the brains of the unit. Operates everything, the compressor and fan, and everything on it. You got a circuit breaker here that protects the control over there. Of course, contactor. These are all your the control block, terminal blocks. So all your power connections are going to be done right here. And then, of course, your compressor. Now, this here is a low temp model. So we've got a filter dryer over here. We got a sight glass back here. All those lines are all insulated for this low temp model. So your wire connections are really just like you would pretty much any other unit. Put that ground wire up out of the way. This is a 3-phase unit. Run the wires through the side connection. With these terminal blocks here, all you need to do is take your screwdriver, stick it right into the terminal. It'll stay in there. Put a wire in, and then pull the screwdriver out, and these wires will just stay right where they need to be. Really simple connections. You don't need to worry about any type of terminals or anything like that. Makes connections real simple. And put your ground wire in there as well. So on a 3-phase unit, you got your 3 different phases in your ground wire. Now if you had defrost, again, you got your 3, 4, X, and N terminals here. So just like any other mechanical clock, you just plug those wires right into these terminals same way. You just stick your screwdriver in there, put your wire in, pull your wire out. Makes it real simple. Alright, so now that all the terminals are connected, all the wires are connected to the terminal block, now you can apply power to the system. So you just go to your disconnect and turn that on. And then you'll see the control goes through a startup procedure, runs through, tells you the firmware version, just does its own diagnostics check to it. Alright, so as you can see here, right now this control is flashing an L21 error. So if we look at the door panel, you see here 21 means it's phase sequence. So what that means is this is a 3-phase unit, and we've got 2 of the phases reversed here. So you notice right now the compressor's not running. So this control knew that since those phases are reversed, it went ahead and protected the system to where it doesn't even allow the compressor to start up. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down the power, and then we'll switch those 2 wires around. Alright, so I've disconnected the power, I've switched those 2 wires around. See, now it's going to go back through the startup procedure. And right now it's sitting there waiting to run. Right now it's not going to run because the cut-in pressure is set at 15 pounds, and we're not connected to anything right now, so the pressure is below the cut-in. So we'll have to change the cut-in, and that'll allow it to start. Okay, so right now the unit is powered up, it's ready to go, it's just waiting to be programmed or have the settings set so it knows what to do. On the door panel, there is this quick setup guide that runs you through all the things that you need to do to set it up, and it's actually pretty quick. First thing is you just need to set the clock. Then you need to set the parameters like your cut in and cut out, your refrigerant, and then if you want to use the defrost, you need to set up your defrost schedules on it. So really easy to do. We'll just do it here real quick on this unit over here. Okay, so in order to set any of the parameters on this, it's just like any other Dixell product that you might be familiar with, any unit controller that's on any other Copeland condensing unit. Simply use the set button and the down arrow button to enter the programming mode. So we just hold those 2 buttons for 3 seconds. It takes you into the main menu. From the main menu, you have a couple different options. First is the real-time clock. This is where you can set your time of day, your month, set the calendar and whatnot. From there, the other options are the parameters. This is where you can set your cut in and cut out and your refrigerants. And then also your defrost settings are all within there. So first we'll go into the real-time clock. To enter that menu, you just hit the set button. It's going to ask you your hours and minutes and days. So the first parameter that comes up is the minutes. When I hit set, right now it's set at 10. You can change that whatever the time is. You hit set to enter. The next one is the hours. So again, you just hit set, and then you can change that to whatever the time is. Now this is in 24-hour time. So for any of these numbers above 12, you just subtract 12 to give you the time of day. So here we've got 17, so you subtract 12 from that, so that'd be 5 o'clock p.m. So you just hit set there. The next one is going to ask you for the day. Again, just use your arrow buttons to set whatever day it is. I'll set it here to the 13th. And you just set the set button again to accept it. It'll ask you for the month. Again, set button. This is December, so we'll put it on 12. Hit set. And then the year, again, set 16. This is 2016, so we'll leave it at that. Once you've gone through all of those, you can exit the program or exit the real-time clock menu. So to do that, you press the set button and then you just press the up arrow button. That takes you down one menu level. So now that we're back to the main menu level, real-time clock, we'll go down to the parameter. So I just hit the down arrow button to get into the parameter menu. So here in the parameter mode, or the parameter menu, this is where you set your cut in and your cut out, and your primary settings that you need to do. You hit the set button to enter it. Again, you hit the set button in order to select a menu, and you use your up and down arrow buttons to change the parameter value. And that's true for all of these different parameters. Use your set button to enter and select the parameters, and then use your up and down arrow buttons to change the values. Real simple. You run through all the different parameters. You change your cut in and cut out, your refrigerant in this case, have it at 404A, and then your defrost modes if you have defrost on it. So the defrost, number one, start here with this EDF. That will allow you to select whether you want defrost on or off and what type of it. So right now we've got the defrost off, which is not used here. If I want to change that, I just hit these buttons over here. I can change it to different values. So I can change it here to a real-time clock. That will allow it to use a defrost at different times of specific hours of the day. So I'll go ahead and hit set there. And then what that does is allows me to use these parameters LD1 through LD6, and this will let me set the actual time of day when the defrost will take effect. So LD1, this means it's at 6 a.m. It does every 10 minutes, so I can change it to be 5:30 and hit set. And you can do the same thing for LD2 through 6, so you get 6 different options. Once you're done with all that, you just hit the set button and the up arrow key. That takes you out of the menu that you're in, back to the main one. If you just hold it, that'll take you all the way out, and then the unit is ready to go.